with Michael Rosenblatt.
Welcome back to another early edition of the Hockey Nation Live Show. This is your co-host, Coach Francis, directly for the Sunshine State. And we have to go to the West Coast to find the co-host, Michael DeVillanone. Welcome, Michael Rosenblatt, where he skipped last night. So,
oh, no.
We put him at 2 minutes and the penalty box.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, it's exactly happening about that. Talking about 2 minutes. We're not talking about Chainsaw Man back in the house.
Good morning, Chainsaw Man. Thank you for
Chainsaw Man is on the fantasy hockey, and he's ready to rock and roll the season. So it'll be interesting about that. So.
Oh, good.
A lot of trash talk already. It season that start last night.
Oh, no. Well, that's par for the course, as they say.
Exactly.
We had a lot of hockey last night, Pierre. It's getting pretty interesting because we're seeing the teams kind of get, in most cases, a little more competitive. The one game that I was obviously watching was Detroit and Chicago last night. And Pierre, I'm just going to say it, I think Lucas Raymond might be the best player in Detroit already.
Yeah, he showed a bit. He's more legit, right? Look like he's really a real, become a good hockey player. He reminded me a little bit like Shemnikov when he started in NHL. People was not talking about him because he was a second overall pick, right? And then he show up and he did. And I said his skill was not there. I just said that the highlights was not on him. And I think that's the same way I compare to Lucas Raymond. We know they compare him a lot with Alexander Holtz for the New Jersey Devils. And they was not sure who's going to make it or not. But right now, I think what they do right now, Raymond, is give the Detroit Red Wings cannot send him back in the American Hockey League. That's what's happening about. So that's what happened.
Send your best player back, Pierre. It's crazy.
So,
he's showing, think of, this is what I was watching and I was thinking about it. I'm like, does he ever make the wrong decision? And I've never seen him make a bad decision. He's always got the puck on his stick in key moments. He gets rid of the puck correctly. And here's a contrast. Dylan Larkin, when you watch Dylan Larkin's trying to make passes constantly that never get through. It's like he just thinks because he's the guy passing, it's going to get through. Whereas you can see with Lucas Raymond when he makes passes, he's drawing defenders in, he's opening up lanes, and when the lane appears, he's putting the puck on the other guy's stick. What he's doing is very elite. And then, there was question, we always knew Alexander Holtz was the shooter of that pair, right? Whenever you'd see them in international, it'd be Lucas Raymond setting up Alexander Holtz. And absolutely Holtz can shoot the puck. But what we're finding out is when the puck gets on Lucas Raymond's stick in a scoring area, it's going in the net. And again, I'll compare it to Dylan Larkin, who he had 2 goals the other night. He could have had 5. And last night, again, he could have had 2 or 3. He misses more than he hits. And I think that's the difference there. So if you look at, if Larkin's maybe one of the better players, aside from Verona, who's not in, Lucas Raymond is like money when it gets on his stick in the right area. And on the power play, pucks are going through him. I can't say enough. The guy's got 4 assists and 2 goals. I think he's played 3 preseason games or 2. He's ridiculous. I think that obviously these numbers may not carry over into the regular season, but right now, I think what you're saying is true. He's not going to spend a single day in the AHL.
Well, at least he's going to get a 9 game and reevaluate his situation over there, right? That's the key behind that. But, we know they don't play again. Right now, it's more like American Hockey League hockey most of the time, right? Because the lineup was not full. But he played against Chicago where they are pretty good players over there. So my point behind this is he's not going to be a guy who's going to make 2 points per game. He's not going to make 1 point per game, but he can handle the kind of hockey in itself at that moment. So it'll be interesting to see his development, how he's going to grow. But I think you have not only right there, you have a lot of players. You can talk about the Detroit and also Chicago at the same time. You can see Maurice Zader score his first goal in NHL, and they have a 1 assist yesterday. I think Fabric stepped up more for the last 2 games for the Detroit. We have 2, and then one player we don't talk about them. 2 players. First, the veteran PTO, Bobby Ryan. I think he's going to get a contract.
How is he not?
For for them. I think last season he have a very good year with them until he got an injury, and he bring that depth inside that team. And then another veteran we don't talk, and he came for the trade is Nick Lady. He already 4 assists for that organization right now. Then he's going to help a little bit more what Ronek. He has to carry on the team last season was by himself. So to get a veteran like Lady can teaching Zader to become a professional, what he takes to play in the NHL, everything like that. I think that's the key behind that transaction. Not only the hockey player, but also the guy in the locker room. The guy been there before. Like Bobby Ryan is the one can handle Raymond and Zader around that. So all the kind of stuff like that, I think that it's not show on the score sheet like we mentioned a lot of time. But those kind of role you play inside the locker room by the veterans, that's what I believe Ryan and Nick can do for them. So I think that's the reason why behind me, I mean, and I like this a lot. Of course, Zadina got a first point about that, but his team is going to have a very difficult time at the end of the day. And I can't believe, Michael, I already see the Detroit Red Wings draft Shane Wright, and he's going to become a player, the next player for them for the upcoming season. I just call it. I feel it. I just see this one over there.
You're right.
I just be because the next team is going to get like you have a trend thing, right? Arizona and Buffalo, Michael, with Shane Wright, it's still going to be a 7, 5, 6, 7 year. Detroit with Shane Wright, they just push the process.
It'll be the final
quicker and faster for that organization on the Steve Eisenman plan. So that's my point behind that. I understand that we never know what will happen, but I think with all the deception or disappointment about the last 3 years, where Detroit always been lower on the draft, but they have to be excited about Lucas Raymond if you're a Detroit Red Wing. We welcome Mr. Dominique Leclerc. Bonjour, mon ami. Yamo, back from Finland. Moi. And then, of course, we have everybody else in the room. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like. That'd be awesome.
To answer Yarmo's question, Letty is an elite skater. We've always known that. Sometimes he skates himself into trouble where he tries to, skate too much and he'll create turnovers against himself. But generally, he's the type of defenseman Detroit has not had. I mean, I can't remember the last time there was a guy like this. It might be Rafalski.
Yes, 31 years old, right?
Yeah,
he's 30. Think, like I said, he bring the veteran players over there, and I think overall he's going to get more point what we expect from him, like you said. So, John, welcome aboard, John Gregor. Thanks to be a part of the show this morning.
I'll just make one more comment. So last night, and if you listen to the press conference of Jeff Blashill, he knew ahead of time that Chicago was pretty much dressing their full lineup. They had Taves and Kane and DeBrincat. They had Kubalik. They had Seth Jones, and Marc-Andre Fleury was starting. So I think that's what was really encouraging is, yes, they whipped Detroit in the first period, but the way Detroit clawed back and the role of a Lucas Raymond. The other thing I'll say is having Lucas Raymond on Dylan Larkin's wing has really helped Dylan Larkin. Because if Dylan Larkin's touching the puck too much, it's kind of a problem. Because he's really, again, he's a great skater, elite skater, right? One of the best in the NHL, but he doesn't make great decisions with the puck. Whereas Raymond makes beautiful decisions with the puck. And I like what you said about Bobby Ryan. Like, I'm not a huge Bobby Ryan fan, but I don't know how you don't give this guy a contract. He's just, when he's dialed in, he's having fun. He's a very, very talented player. He's big, and he's kind of gentlemanly out there, but at the same time, he's doing his thing. He's going to scoring areas, and you see the results. So I think that he's going to get a contract in the next day or two. You got to see. One thing I'll comment too, Moritz Seider, great package overall, still a -3 yesterday. There's a little bit of a chink in his armor, Pierre, and you notice when he's handling the puck and a forward is on him or he's going for a race for the puck, he actually needs a little help in his straight line speed. He's got kind of a problem there. And I think it might get a little worse during the regular season. He makes up for it with his reach, but he probably needs to get a little stronger on his straight line speed. I noticed that a bunch last night. All right, so other than that, and it is good news that Zadina got his first point. Lots of hockey last night.
I think about this is like Chicago, Michael. Jonathan Toews again show up, and again he have a couple of points for the Chicago Blackhawks. On that moment, I think Chicago is just like come back what they was before. A team with Kane, everything like that. We have Tyler Johnson start to be a little bit more hot with that team over there. We know what Khrushchev can do, but McKenzie wants Wessel to goal yesterday. And you talk about that over there. And again, Chicago, being honest with you, is their defense. That's what you have to get about that one. Their defense. That's what their biggest problem on my eyes over there. But we have to give credit to Caleb Jones have a good camp so far for them.
Yeah,
so that helping a little bit more what they expect right there. But John Murphy, McCabe, and that's pretty much the three best defensemen over there. Sure. But again, at the end, they have to get better. And John, but I think they missed a piece of the puzzle there. I think Jason Demers could be a guy that can handle there. I think I will open up a spot for him because their defense right now, it's not what they have. They want to go higher or have a good year. I think that's what their biggest problem is. Defense number 4, 5, and 6. We know John, his brother Caleb, is going to be one of the 3 bottom. Yeah. But I think it would be great to have another experienced veterans over there with that kind of the player they have right now. I think Demers could be one of them.
Maybe. I just wonder. I think they need a little bit. If they had a number 2, number 3 guy, that would really help. I think Murphy's a good number 3 or 4 in my opinion, and McCabe looks really good. Like I don't have any problem with him. Dahlin, when he's on the ice, looks really good. I just worry about, are these guys going to be hurt? Neither one's very big, and I think you need a little bit. It'd be nice to have a number 2. If you had a legit number 2, it'd be pretty exciting. But really, like Marc-Andre Fleury looks great. I mean, you forget
a big save, right? The flip side, I was said to you, Detroit shot 40 times yesterday. That's something we're gonna pay attention about that also. So Fleury did well. Chris was not great on my eyes. But again, the preseason game, right? So I'm not much sure about that. I don't know what Jordan said. But can only take so many over there. So I don't know.
I'm not sure what that means, but yeah. All right. So there's a lot of hockey last night.
Yeah, I think we're going to jump right away to Ottawa because a lot of problems going over there right now. And we have I know Jordan or Brooke is not here this morning. Not Jordan, but London is not here. But that game I follow a lot yesterday. It was great to see Pierre Engvall score 2 goals, honestly. But my problem there is Ottawa Senator. They have a lot of questions. They maybe lost Connor White is going to be on the MRI this morning.
Oh, is it?
It's just like remember like Cody Dak got an injury last year when he was just like
he broke the wrist.
Yeah, so now White got a shot, and it was nothing like a bad body check, whatever it was, and now they think maybe he will be out for a few weeks. We'll be going to wait what the Ottawa Senators is going to talk about this morning, the result of the injury, Connor White. So why coach Connor White's not a big deal? Yes, because they changed completely the lineup and the share of players in the lineup right now. And without Brady Tkachuk, guys, if you look their lineup, you said, wait a minute, we don't have a great team right now.
No.
So that's something we have to follow up for the next today. We talk about a shoulder. So it'll be interesting to see the injury of him because right now, without Tkachuk, Michael, this lineup not looking great. I'll be honest with you. The good flip nice about the other side where it's nice, Michael, is the Matt Murray resurrection. Matt Murray is looking great between the pipes. Another solid game yesterday against Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yeah.
And if you are Ottawa Senator, that's what you're looking for him to be that kind of goaltender. So, good performance against Montreal Canadiens and yesterday against Toronto. So, Ottawa at that moment, because if we put Tkachuk out there on the corner, right, everybody get up on that one. And you have to bring Patrick Kelly, where Kelly is hurt right now. So, you know who is coming there now? This is your buddy from yesterday, Azunimo. He's going to be maybe make the roster automatically because Tkachuk is not there. Collie White is going to be out over there. I like the right side of their body, with Patterson, Connor Brown, and Nick Paul. This is 3 solid right winger over there. But now the line in the middle, when you have Chris Tierney, I think Pinto should be higher. But losing Colin White is a big blowout for them. and without Kachuk. So I think you have to rush to get Brady. I don't know what this takes so long time for him. Yeah, 46 game in the NHL, and Drew. And, he's not a young kid. He's a 30 years
No,
old, going to be
he's 30.
31. So
He looked
they
good.
don't have
I mean, when
anybody.
you
They
watch
will
him,
fill up that spot with him.
yeah,
It's between him and Kelly, but Kelly is is hurt right now. So just want to mention what I observed yesterday. Toronto have a pretty good, solid game without the big guns over there. Jack Campbell was doing well over there. Like Envel scored a good goal at the beginning. Then it's an empty net. And that's pretty much the resume of that game where I'm talking about for the Ottawa Senators. Because we have more people follow that team. I just want to share that team over there.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. I think that, Agazino will be competent. Obviously not a compensation, though, for Brady Tkachuk. I think Andrew's always played with elite players like that are in the NHL. So he's very capable. Like, he's been part of the under 18s for Canada. He's been around the block. So when you watch him last night, he doesn't make bad decisions. He looks like a veteran. I think they'll be fine with him. But in the end, you need Tkachuk back in this lineup. There's just no way around it. All right, so a couple of things. Philadelphia.
Main Goal Hockey, welcome aboard. Don't forget to click on the likes, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning. Any question you have, please, guys, share with us. By the way, Michael, 1 week before the upcoming season start next Tuesday at 7:30, the Tampa Bay and the Pittsburgh play.
So last night, the tight game in Philadelphia versus Boston. Mention again that Jack Stanichka again scores. He just looks like he's their second line center, Pierre. And I think that they're pretty comfortable with him in that role. He's got decent size. He's got good skill, and he goes to hard areas. So I think this might be a good surprise for them. He doesn't look like he's going to, not make the team. It looks like he's going to fill that hole, and he's doing it pretty confidently. And
I don't know how they're going to make their line, but the one thing about Stanika right now, he get an opportunity. And he take that. He take it right now. So it'll be interesting. He's going to be a part of the roster. But again, 5 games, 10 games, it's going to see who is going to be the center number 2 and fill up at the bottom over there. So it'll be really interesting about that.
Yeah, and I think that they've worked him in over time. He had 20 games last year, didn't get a lot of ice time. But you can see with ice time, he's doing pretty well. So I would look for him to take the next leap, and he looks like he's ready to at least get that audition in the regular season.
Of course, he was going to be part of the lineup, but I think it would be more like a third or fourth center at that moment for them.
I don't know. Maybe.
It's too demanding to give a responsibility as a center number 2 in NHL.
I don't know about that.
I'm sorry?
I don't know. He's a big guy, and he's going to hard areas. So it's going to be.
It's not because he's not a big guy. It's because the responsibility as a team, you don't want to expose a rookie or a kid who don't have a lot of experience in NHL to put him at the second, as center number 2, because he's not going to. Many of them don't do that. Like Quarfield, you can see most of the coach does not want to have their rookie or the first year guy full time.
Yeah, and they've got lots of options. They got Charlie Coyle, they got Eric Holla, so he should be able to work him in over time. Both goaltenders looked really good last night, Pierre. So you had a good outing from Carter Hart, which is encouraging for Philadelphia. And then Jeremy Swayman looked excellent. He faced 36 shots and was a .944 save percentage.
Problem is not him right now, it's Holman.
Ullman looks terrible.
Holman don't have a Ray Cam over there. And so to Anthony, to Yamo about this, I want to let you know Yamo Rask is still hurt. He's going to be returned in January. And the only place he's going to go is the Boston Bruins. So can Hulmark become a fiasco? I don't know. But Swayman could become then the goaltender number 1 over there. Yeah. And we'll see after that what could happen. But I would not be surprised Rask joined the team at some point, Michael.
Yep. Chainsaw Man asked this, do you think Evander Kane is going to play this year? I think at some point he will.
I don't think so, Michael. I think he's done for the year.
Really? Why?
I think because all the problem he has, and also the NHL are going to protect, and then the Senators. Now, can he play somewhere else? Possible.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying, like, my point was, like, he's not going to play with the Senators Sharks. I I don't
It's
see that.
just,
It can always a team, right? We said that Tony D'Angelo never going to play, everything like that. We say him
yeah.
at KHL. So he's going to have another team can have a chance to see Kane to restart every time that a team may be at the trade deadline looking for him. Would be interesting. But I don't see Kane like Jack Eichel return to their team at that moment.
We're talking about a healthy player. That's what's crazy. Like, I've got to think he's going to play, and he had a career year. So it seems like obviously he's done this to himself with off-ice distractions. That's always been a problem for him. But you've got to think at some point they go, I mean, how do we keep this guy out? Now, if their investigations yield something, obviously he's not going to play, and maybe that's what they're waiting for, is to close out all these investigations.
Both of them have an agreement right now. They're not to not go. So he's agreed to not be there. He's agreed to fix his life back.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's the reason I mentioned this about. So it's
Yeah.
more about.
No, it makes sense. All right. So the other game that's interesting, Columbus continues to play really well. We see different things from them. Last night, what we saw was Jakub Voracek on the same line with Patrik Laine. And I think we see what they were looking for in Voracek versus Cam Atkinson, which he's the setup man. He's a big body, smart with the puck, and he gets pucks on guys' sticks. And you saw last night, he played very well. He got a goal and an assist. Actually, did he get 2 assists? Yeah, he at least got 1 goal and assist. Yeah, he got a goal and 2 assists last night, Pierre. And 1 was to Patrik Laine. So if they can consistently play like this, they have a really good top line. I mean, the other guy that was really interesting last night was JJ Peterka and Casey Middlestad. Middlestad pops 2 more goals, but JJ Peterka, I think we saw him in the World Juniors, Pierre, and he looks like he's dialed in. Like, one thing about the German players, they look very mature. Like, he's not a young, old guy, but he looks like a veteran player the way he plays. Very similar to Moritz Seider. Like, he makes smart decisions. He goes to scoring areas. He's unafraid, and he's got good talent level. And he looks like he's physically. So this is an interesting player.
Buffalo cut players this morning, and they keep him. He didn't make the cut yet, so he's still alive. Being honest with you, I don't know if he's going to make the team, but right now Peterka is going to be interesting to follow him. So Buffalo's cut a couple of players. I would add the goaltender back, an American colleague, Likkonen. So very interesting to see that.
Did they put him down?
Yeah, they put him down this morning. Back over there. With the American Hockey League. I just checked the lineup they have on the yesterday. They don't have anybody there. They have West back is back also. The American Hockey League.
Oh yeah, really? You know what? He had a good preseason.
Yeah, but they are still young, right? So I think but the lineup they see there is almost the lineup they're going to get next season.
Really close.
That's crazy about that, but that's what they are. Crazy. So, you know what I mean? Like, you have to realize that part is going to have a very difficult year over there now.
Oh, yeah.
You can see Peterka play only 10 minutes, so I don't know why they keep him this morning. But I think the key for me for that game where you mentioned Voracek, but I think it's Oliver Backstrand. I just make a video this morning about
he's so good.
About the right wing and NHL between that and Backstrand. I think he's underrated, and I think it's great to see him. Constant performing. He was the core of the Columbus Blue Jackets with all the drama and all the difficulties they have last season. Him did not stop. He still produced. He have 44 points last season, I believe. Yeah. There we go. So I'll give you an idea. Every year he's growing. His number 23, 21. Last year he was going to be a 25 goal, I believe, last season. A 55 point, I believe, also with nobody around him, to be honest with you. So
he's
that team right there, I think we don't talk a lot. We do not hear nothing for that team, but 2 players for me is Roslovic. I think Roslovic, he was quiet so far. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what he's going to do now. You can see the rookie now start to be quiet. Chenikov have nothing yet. It'll be interesting what he's going to do. I think Cole Slinger is over there. His days is over, so it'll be interesting what their next move about for them. So a lot of things happening at that organization for sure.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, I think I'd be running this guy because you want to see what he can do. You only played Jack Roslovic 15 minutes yesterday. You only played Chinikov, just about the same, 14.56.
Yeah, he
Normally,
played the second line over there, right?
yeah.
But yes and no, because Nisquist play with Buckstrom at some point. Selinger will be interesting. So you have two players right now. They will be. I would not be surprised, Mike, if they start both of them on the lineup, on the roster, and then give them a 9-game evaluation
Probably.
and go from there.
Yep.
I believe on my book they will not get both of them, and I will be surprised, but could be wrong here. But I think one of the two is going to be returned, and I think they're going to keep Chinakov more, and then back Selinger and the weird shell.
Probably.
Whatever.
I think you're right. I think Chinikov's shown he can play. It's interesting, like you played Boone Jenner 17 minutes. He's had a very good.
Yeah, it's really training camp. Like, I don't know, 3 goals maybe somewhere, but he's looking good for sure.
He's looked good. So they're interesting. The other game that I thought was interesting, Alexander Holt scores last night. This guy's going to stick in the NHL. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. Mercer assists on it. Kevin Ball gets his first assist, and Pavel Zacha scores. Jimmy Vesey scores again. I think they might sign him. It wouldn't surprise me. But for sure, I can't see Alexander Holtz going down at this point. And Mercer is.
I don't know if it's a empty net, honestly, on my book. But again, I think he have
this goal?
He let a couple of print over there, right? So it's pretty good to see that over there. So I think he will be hanging there at some point.
We'll see. I'm not a big fan of VC, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them sign him.
So a funny story, Michael, happening yesterday because I'm watching I'm listening everything. So Fitzgerald is on interviewing yesterday about the Blackwood situation, the vaccination, and everything like that. He would be vaccinated for what he said. So Blackwood, Michael, went to the vaccination, sit on the chair, wait for the girls come back to do it. Then he left.
Okay.
He got scared. So it's not like he does not want to. It's feel like, something blocked him to not do it.
Pierre, he's already had COVID. He was very sick. He recovered. He has antibodies. He's afraid that, we already saw in Edmonton, there's 2 players at Edmonton that have cardiovascular issues. One of them got the vaccine, one didn't. So I think players are scared. You don't want to, he's afraid that he's already got it, and then you tap it in, and he has heart problems. He's scared.
So the story about that is because right now because if he cannot get it, he will not play at some level at some point.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what the concern about that. On the good side, they don't have anything in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah. And Bernier is an excellent goalie. Like, he's played very well for them. You saw it in Detroit the last 2 years. So I think they're in good shape there. Actually, Wedgwood played well last night. He didn't face a lot of shots, but he looked confident.
He played a third period over there. So
like a third goalie, if Wedgwood's your third goalie, I think you're fine. Like, I don't.
But for me, it was a little bit what I was watching the game, and for me, it was more about Kevin Ball again playing another
Kevin Ball,
game,
totally.
16 minutes, a bottom 5 or 6 over there. The reason why I mentioned him, Michael, because they have Hamilton, they have Ryan Graves. Now they have a Piquet Subban. That's it is what he is, right? And he can hang in there. The only problem now they lose maybe Ty Smith for a couple of weeks, and it will be interesting to follow up with that situation over there. So because Ty Smith was one of the core of the top 3 defensemen over there. Now without him, a couple of weeks, he's not going to start the season. So it'll be interesting to follow up with that situation over there. And then Silverson is also out, Michael, for injury. So that game now, Sidjan Deller, he was not there. So it'll be interesting to see that.
That's why he had a great prospect camp. He's looked good in Kevin Ball. He had a great prospect camp.
Yeah.
He's looked good in preseason. He's 6'7". He's not a small guy. He's not a tall, skinny guy. He's a big man. He's a good skater. I think he's very capable of at least starting the season with them. And I don't
want he's like him, but he's the type like Philip Myers.
He's very much like Tyler Myers.
Right. Better in my eyes.
Yeah, or maybe you think Philip Myers for
no, I think like Kevin is better to Philip Myers overall.
Probably.
Because he I think he's more mobile, a little bit better, play better on the defensive side. But again, if you talk
Yeah,
about the
I think
kind of
so.
compared
Good
to
comparison.
players, I think that's the right way to go there. If you want to go deeper, Michael Myers for the Vancouver Canucks, that's another title players. He should looking to get that one over there.
Very
So,
similar to Tyler
you know what I
Myers.
mean? So they have a good lineup now. Jack
They
Hughes
do.
is also hurt, Michael.
Ah,
So that'll be another situation. So Vegas, New Jersey is right now the trouble like Montreal Canadiens with a lot of injuries to deal at the beginning of the year. Would be really interesting about that team. Honestly, we're going to finish with Montreal a bit later. Welcome in our top number one fans, Michael, of the Hockey National Show. But the number one fans on Montreal Canadiens live in Toronto.
there you go.
Definitely, yeah, more about that one.
This guy by the name of Kaprizov, is that how you pronounce it?
It would be. It's funny because we do a pool every day in the Hockey National Show. I put his name there as a nomination for the Trophy Hart
Oh,
or
I think
the
you're right.
Lady Bank at the end of the year. If Minnesota have an amazing, great year, Michael, and the surprise, I think Kaprizov is going to be one of the nomination at the end of the
For
year as
sure.
the MVP because he can carry on that team. Not be surprised this kid have 40 goals and 85 points. For upcoming season, he will give every dollar or money they put on him. It was going to be worth it for the wall. He's
Absolutely.
the Pavel Bure and the Panarin, and you know what I mean, like the guy that's the player you go to the game to watching one specific player. You know what I mean? That's what he is. And I understand he's 25 now, but at the end of the day, that's what he is for that team. He would carry on the wall from him. The worst thing could happen for him to get hurt. But look, he's only 5'9", but he's a
200
bulldozer
pounds.
build, right?
He's like a tank, Pierre.
Yeah, it's a little bit Ovechkin, right?
Like he's like Bure comparison's pretty good because I think Bure was a fairly stocky guy, or maybe he wasn't. His brother's definitely not. Val's not a big guy, but I thought Pavel was a little bigger. He can shoot the puck. He finds open space. He puts the puck on other guys' sticks to score. Like, terrific player. We didn't really see a very strong Colorado lineup again. Like, we didn't have Rantanen. We didn't have Landeskog. No McKinnon, obviously. Oscar Olsen continues to play a lot of minutes, so they're giving him a look. Anisimov, did they sign Anisimov, Pierre?
Not yet.
I think that they probably will at some point. That seems like a useful player for them.
What they like so far is the performance of New Hook and also of Olsen. But listen, Bowen Bayram again, delivery, again, a 23-minute on the ice, was maybe the best defenseman, I believe, for me and during that game. And congratulations to Quimper. Now he's back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
so
good.
It's a team right now is just find the players, but the most good show of Bayram. That's really where that's the next feature about this. Again, trade Lundell for Bayram. There'll be a very interesting discussion at the end of the day.
I wouldn't do it. I think the other, what we didn't talk about in the Ottawa game was Josh Ho-Sang. He gets his 4th assist, Pierre. And I don't know if you saw the play. He's so smart with the puck. He's always been a very, very good playmaker. So if he can control the stuff off the ice, I know he's got a reputation of being kind of like a lazy person off the ice. And, he'll sleep in and do stupid stuff to hurt himself. He's not, but the guys like him and guys are trying to pull for him to play, but he looks very good for Toronto. I'd be shocked if they don't give him some sort of a contract. I mean, at the very least, he's going to get an AHL contract, I think. But I would not be surprised to see him play. I mean, the other guy is that Semyonov. I don't know if you've watched him much, but the Russian player got 2 assists last night. So that he's kind of interesting. He's 26 years old. He's a veteran of the KHL. And I think Semyonov might be one of these guys that surprises a little bit and gives them another useful player. So it's going to be interesting. Toronto finds players out of the woodwork. And Nathan, what's his name? Robertson. Is that his name? Nate Robertson? No. Nick Robertson. Nick Robertson looked pretty good last night, although we're still looking for him to fill up the net a little bit.
But they have to. I don't know how they're going to give Semyonov if they have Case, Richie, and Bunting in front of him.
I think he might be a center though.
But yeah, it's Brooks and Spencer.
Yeah, you might be right. There's a lot of bodies. I think he's right now ahead of Brooks and the other guy. Not Spezza. Spezza's definitely going to be. I think Spezza will anchor the fourth line. That'll probably be what they look to. He looks like he's still very capable. So yeah, it's a good point because they still have Bunting, and we know that they're like, oh, somehow they got 80 grand. I don't know how. David Kampf looked good. So it's going to be interesting. Does he start the year in the AHL? They're a very deep team. I still don't believe in the goaltending, but guess we'll find out. All right, the other.
We have a few people here. Mr. Stephen Member back in the house today. And of course, we have another Sweden. We have a full of Sweden people this morning, Michael.
Ooh. I loved how Detroit has played in preseason. Yeah, I think the thing about Detroit, this is where Steve Yzerman's really probably going to earn his keep, is he's added pieces to improve the team. It won't improve their record, and they'll still be in the contention for the first overall pick. And to Pierre's point, if they get a top 3 pick that can jump to the NHL, it'll just catapult them. Like, we've got a lot of interesting pieces. So they definitely look better than last year. I don't think they'll win more than 28 games, and that probably is good. Maybe they win 30. I don't know. This comment by Inertap Pierre about Zuccarello, I think he had got his 5th or 6th assist last night.
Well, he continues what they leave last year, right? So Zuccarello helping, Kaprizov really helping, good. You know what I mean? So I think both of them have a good chemistry for that part over there. So it'll be interesting to see that. But I just want to mention, if I can, Yamo, Stefan can remind, you guys play each other. Is it the cup happening like last year? You bring to us like they have a cup between Finland and Sweden where it's fun cup happening over there. Can you remind us this, what's happening? Because Finland play a lot of game against Sweden.
Like internationally, you mean in the summer?
Yeah, like right now.
It's like a tournament.
Yeah.
What's my prediction from Word Cider? I think you'll get like 25, 28 points, somewhere around there. I would think you'll get 6, 7 goals, and then like maybe 18 to 20 assists. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't think he'll get much more than that, but he can play big minutes so far. I think he does need to work on his speed a little bit. Like that's going to cause him problems during the year when you've got speedy NHL forwards bearing down on you. But even when he gets like physically in trouble, he's using his reach very effectively. But at some point, it's going to cause him some problems. Oh, who's having their first kid? I think Knight is in today. Okay, so Florida's game tonight. Spencer Knight will start. That'll be good. All right, I'm going to comment on this game. We saw Calgary jump out to an early lead. Tkachuk and Gaudreau in the first period. Then Lindholm, it's 3-0 Pierre until Edmonton finally scores a goal. And then they come all the way back. And the notable performances, I would say, Brendan Perlini, I would be shocked if they don't sign him. He looks like he's going to be an effective player for them. He's got his 5th goal in the preseason. We've always known he's had talent, but very inconsistent off the ice, doesn't work hard in practice, in games terrible without the puck. And I think those things look like they've improved, and he's got a scoring touch back. So I would be shocked if Kenny Holland doesn't sign him to some sort of a contract. Jesse Puljujarvi, it actually looked like he had 2 goals yesterday, and then they end up giving the second one to Connor McDavid. He basically, I think this guy's going to score 25, 30 goals. Like, he's just earning his spot around the net. Like, he's impossible to move.
I will ask a question for you. Do you believe at the end, Puljujarvi is going to have a better career at Patrick Laine?
That's really tough to say. Patrick Laine has already scored a lot of goals. Patrick Laine looks pretty good right now in preseason. And I think they had problems with both guys. They were different problems. One guy is a little bit stoic, kind of that Finnish stoicism. And the other guy just didn't speak any English. And I don't think they gave him a proper chance. I think in the end, Laine's still probably a better overall offensive player. But Puya-Harvey, 10 years from now might have 300 NHL goals.
My point is, like, remember him with Dubois and Lenny,
Yeah.
they all drafted the same year, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that discussion between
Absolutely.
year ago, right? Year ago or 2 years ago, you're never going to mention the Bill Jujavi and that same conversation
Nope.
because he was struggled, he was not there. Now the will reverse, and now he's maybe the best of the three right at that moment. He's maybe the best one of the three. Where it's pretty amazing when you see that. I just, I just
It's a
question that
good
part over there.
question.
But you have a
Like
good training camp. You have a good right position right now with the right wing. He
Yep.
produced. He has 6 points so far. But I just want to mention
I
about it
like
because all three, well, I think the worst one there right now is Dubois. So it would be interesting to see what's happening.
Yeah, and we know famously that Jarmo Kekalainen, the Finnish general manager of the Columbus Blue Jackets, intentionally drafted Pierre-Luc Dubois ahead of Jesse Puya-Harvey, and then he fell to Edmonton, and he was like, no, this player's way better. So I think it's up to Dubois. Like, if Dubois doesn't play well in Winnipeg, he's got no one to blame but himself. I liked the move last year. Like, if you think about this, Puya-Harvey went back, said, trade me, and Kenny Holland said, no, we're a different organization. And he was very patient and then ended up signing this guy. And this looks like it's a great move. Like, he's totally changed, as a player. He's matured. He's not that old. I think he's 23, right?
Yeah. And Yamo is like, he's right. He compared Laney and pulled all the time. And that's right to do that about that one over there. But it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do with Perlini over there. The depth is better. At the end of the day, Edmonton is going to go where the goaltender is going to carry on them. They have no other effect. Like, that's
the big thing.
That's what they are at that moment over there. So it'll be interesting. One player is very quiet there, Michael, is really for gel.
I was going to say the
great cam over there. Ivan is a little bit quiet.
Yeah.
But full gel is really struggle, or we don't hear a lot like Yamamoto. Those three players where I think they have to step up more at some point. It was great to see Duncan Keith back on the ice for the first time yesterday. Played 17 minutes with Cody CC, where I believe both of them is going to be together. Bouchard have a point yesterday. Play only 12 minutes with Coco, the third pair defenseman. Barry Nurse together. 26 minutes with 29-7. That's crazy, Michael.
I don't love that pairing.
No, but it's crazy. You let play those two guys, Michael, at the preseason game at 26. What's the point? Why to let them play that minute? It does not make sense to me. Why you go to sit Bouchard and Coco at 12 minutes? What you try to accomplish tonight? Win? Just completely don't get it, this one.
It's crazy. Should Edmonton claim Phoenix Copley?
No.
I'm not sure. I don't think that's going to help them. They need a legitimate number one goalie. And I don't see Mike Smith. Mike Smith is like a little bit off. He's an old guy. He's a big guy. The guys love him. He handles the puck well, but he's not perfect.
But the problem, Michael, is because you cannot get someone if it's not better what you have.
Yeah.
Because the money situation, the only way they can do something right now is to trade Koskinen or to get one of the two on the injury reserve. Yep. That's pretty much what they have. Because they don't trade Koskinen, that would be a problem there. I think that's the key.
They got to move this guy. The smartest thing he could have done was what they should have done, Pierre, was go after Bernier hard. Like, get Jonathan Bernier.
Well, I think they feel like Mike Smith, they trust him. So I think to get Mike Smith there, it's okay. My point is Koskinen. I think they should trade Koskinen to Buffalo Sabres, right? And to pay maybe $1 or $2 million on his contract, and then pick up a player like Bernier, or not maybe, but Bernier, Dallas Star, a guy a little bit more experienced at Koskinen, whatever it is. But again, it will be better for them. The key on this, for the next couple of weeks and months, to see where John Gibson is going to go. John Gibson is going to be on the really, really trade bait in Anaheim. I think Anaheim should let him go at that moment because
he's too old.
Anaheim is going to be good, Michael. Gibson is going to be about 35 years old. So why not to trade him where they are at that moment?
I agree.
You're not going to go nowhere. They're not going to win anyway. So his stock is really high, and he's going to be in demand over there.
You're
It's
wasting
good
this guy's
looking for him
career.
right now. And you have other team that think they will be very interesting to get. You're going to get a first round pick for him and maybe something else back with him. And then the first round pick, Michael, is going to be very interesting about that. So for me, that's what I will do if I was them.
I agree with you. I think Anaheim has a guy that's going to be 28, 29. You're wasting his career because he's capable of being an excellent elite goalie. And you don't have any hope on the horizon to turn the corner. Like this is a 2 or 3 year more thing before they turn it around and are at least competitive. Zegras scored last night. He hasn't looked great to me in prospects. He doesn't look great in.
Was a great goal, by the way.
Yeah, he's super talented, and he also the other guy though that was interesting last night. William Eklund got his 5th assist, Pierre. Like this guy might stick with San Jose. It's crazy. Like he's such a talented player. You can see though, Mason McTavish scored last night. They've been hanging on to McTavish and our defenseman Olin Zellweger. I don't think he's played a game yet, but they're holding on to them to give them a taste of how to be in camp, how to be in the dressing room. I think both guys have looked really good in their practices. So it's interesting to see Mason McTavish get a goal. I thought originally he was going to go back, but he might stick.
I don't think so, Michael. I'll be honest with you. No, but it's not compared to you. But what I heard this morning is, first of all, Mike, maybe you did not know, but he did not start the season. He was hurt. The first practice, he got banked out. Oh, and he missed about 5-6 days before he come back. Second thing is what I heard this morning. He's going to return him at OHL. And
that would make sense. Go to Peterborough and play the year. And
so that's what I was talking about. This he was going to be a World Cup champion at the World Cup, everything like that. That's what I think at the end of the day, it's good to get him a little bit more ice time over there. But I just want to what I heard this morning from Anaheim organization. So I just want to feel what was for me. It's really interesting what they're going to do with William Eklund. They turn their hands right now to see. Wait a minute, can we keep him? Right? Because right now the problem with San Jose, this thing don't go nowhere, Michael.
They're going nowhere.
Spend 1 year without him and let him play 1 more year, and don't spend 1 year because the team don't go nowhere, or what's sort of take a decision right now? Can we rebuild, go that direction? Because the problem, they are stuck with a big 3 contract. And that's what's going to hanging there for years. So it would be really interesting what they're going to do with Eklund. But again, we can, like I mentioned to you, I was a big fan of William Eklund and the draft. I told you in the beginning, I would put him at the top 3, remember?
Yep,
and he produced a 5. And at 18 years old, Michael, it's not easy for that draft to produce like he does. So San Jose let him play. San Jose give him a chance. And they look like they like him. Can he make the roster? Going to be interesting, but would be what happened. But he's a good hockey player.
I think it's such a great pick. This might actually work out very well for them. He's already played professional hockey. He played in Sweden. He played on a line with his best friend, who's Alexander Holt. Most people in the Swedish Elite League said they think he had a better season than Lucas Raymond. And Lucas Raymond, I think, is a year older. So it's interesting. Like you've got a player that can play center. Lucas Raymond's a winger, so it takes a little bit of the heat off of him. But the feeling is he's a very effective centerman. He can also play wing. He played wing and center and pro. He's not a big guy, but he's super smart. He skates really well. He's a great playmaker. And one thing about all 3 of these guys, Pierre, they're so smart. They're not making bad decisions with the puck. And when they don't have the puck, they are very effective forecheckers. At least Raymond and Eklund are. I mean, Raymond's elite. He takes forechecking to another level. But you see that he's a very capable player. So I think physically I'd like to see him get the time to fill out. But it would not surprise me to see him get 9 games and then put him in the AHL and bring him up and down, because I think he's not that far off.
Maybe do we keep him?
Maybe they keep him, because I don't like what's going on in San Jose overall. I mean, If Logan Couture is your best centerman, he's got some chinks in that armor.
Yeah.
Hurdle, you don't know what's going to happen with him. You haven't signed him. And the Kane situation's a mess. Erik Karlsson does not look great to me. And I think Holtz has played very well for New Jersey. He's not a great skater, but he's a great shooter. Would teams like the Panthers, who possibly need defensemen, give up multiple first picks for Giordano or Manson? I think they'd at least give up one and maybe a prospect. I could see that. And both of them would probably be worth it. If you had a Josh Manson or a Mark Giordano, that would make such a difference in Florida. I think you need a left shot, or you probably need a left shot defenseman, though, right? So probably
yes, they need a LD around that moment. Yeah. And the key behind that is you cannot do anything until they're going to see what they look like at the trade deadline. So the Giordano would bring you better at Manson, but at short term. Manson going to give you a little bit more depth on the home house, but I think a Giordano leadership, the way he was, everything like that, the professional. But I can tell you that the Seattle Kraken not going to trade Giordano. I think they're going to keep him.
You might be right.
Because he knows what he got. I think Giordano can play in NHL for 3 more years, Michael. And I think Seattle would build that team around him on the off ice, and a little bit what Shea Weber is. Giordano is that's the kind of player he is. Like Shea Weber, the leadership he bring on the table, everything like that. So I don't think so they will trade Giordano. At least this year, it become a fiasco. Otherwise, they would keep him. He's going to be really involved with the he's been there in Calgary. He was going to be involved with the people. The Seattle is going to have that kind of the relationship over there. So I don't think so will happen at that moment.
Yeah,
they have a lot of question in the chat, Michael, from Inner Tab about Gibson.
Yeah,
yes, I agree. I agree with you. He's not going to trade right away, but I would not be surprised. And also, Michael, he have an 8-year contract at $6.1 or $6.4 million. So he have a great contract. 28, he's going to be at 36 when he's done over there. Can he want to get a, he have a no close trade, so he's not going to if he want to go somewhere. But I think that's a goaltender right now on the market could become someone interesting for many teams. They're looking for a goaltender for the next couple of years at that lower price. So really interesting. If Edmonton get him, guy Michael, that's push them that team really well at some point. Is Flame good enough offensively to make the playoff? It's the team is not going to get, not because they don't have offensively. The system that Darryl Suttler bring on the table is a defensive side. So they're not going to see Calgary score a 4-goal, 5-goal, 6-goal per night. He's going to have a team going to win 2-1, 3-2. That's what's happening about that one over there. And the key of that part is Monahan. It's to see him. You can see those guys perform yesterday, like catch up. But again, they gave 4 goals. So they have to get better defensive side. Their defense have to get better. Backstrom is going to be all right, I believe. But his team is going to be in the middle of the pack over there. A little bit better at San Jose, Los Angeles, and Anaheim. But he's going to fight to get the wild card over there. I give them only the wild card for the upcoming season.
For a team that's so defensive, they gave up a lot of shots last night. They pretty much had their full lineup in, Pierre. We saw Backlund, Gaudreau, we saw Tkachuk, we saw Monahan, Lindholm. Like, there's not many guys not there, and this is their defense. So I think.
But again, like if you look on that, they gave a lot of goal on power play. 2 of the 4 goals on power play yesterday, right? So they don't have any player, Michael, with minus on the defensive side. It's not the point. The point you have to be careful. One thing they're looking good, Michael, and I don't know is Darryl Suttler, but Callington have an amazing training camp from what I heard this morning from the Calgary PR. So would be interesting what he's going to do. But to get Callington, Michael, the top 6 over there, their defense is not bad. They just have to be a little bit more, strong. Denev got beat by the speed of McDavid yesterday. Oh. And by the way, if you don't see this goal, McDavid uses speed and Denev uses his stick. Push McDavid sliding on the post, again happening to him 2 years ago, and they hit Max Strom at the same time. So a little bit worries for both teams yesterday about that one. So That's what
Yeah,
happened.
that's the problem, Pierre, is I think most teams are just saying if he gets to that top speed and you haven't slowed him down, just try to stay with him and don't trip him because you're gonna hurt the guy and you might hurt your goalie because he's so fast, Pierre. He's like on another planet right now. I don't see anybody that touches McDavid at this point. Like he's so fast, it's crazy. And with no like he can take off from anywhere. But I think you're right. Like Oliver Shillington, I've been kind of saying this for a while. He's an effective 5'6" defenseman. He's a good skater. He's not overly big, but he makes smart decisions with a puck. What they don't have, Pierre, is a number one D. Like I think that they don't have a guy that's going to step up into that. The player you don't see here is Valimaki. Valimaki has had a great camp, and but I think again, Valimaki's not a number one D. Like to me, he's a number 2-3. But he can play on a second power play unit. So I don't know what they're going to do here. Like none of these guys is a number one.
Balamuki said, I like the Panthers core somewhat underrated. They have a good defenseman. I think they have 5 of them. We'll be interested who's going to be number 6 over there. And again, this is not going to be the defenseman. It's going to be the goaltender situation with Bob and Spencer Knight because they don't have anybody anymore. Montembeault is gone. And Christian Gibson become the number 3rd on that organization. So it'll be really interesting about that one over there. What do you think about Robin Leonard? So, Michael, I did some search yesterday. I want to go deeper about that story, everything like that. And, I was a little bit hard or harsh on that situation yesterday. So Robin Leonard bring a point where they have a lot of things going on behind the door in NHL about injuries, everything like that. The doctor they don't trust, everything like that. He was just trying to bring some allegation what an NHL to be a little bit more careful about how they treat some specific player like the Hakel situation or the Nolan Patrick, everything like that. He did not try to bring the only mistake he did, he tried to put Vigneault on the out of the box, everything like that. He should not accuse Alain Vigneault or any other coach in NHL, Michael, because first, he never been coached by him. Secondly, he don't know who they are. And thirdly, he maybe talk about something he did not know. But that's maybe his problem. But what he bring there is a great point because a lot of things they bring or they gave to the players was a little bit happening in NFL. So they open up that conversation is great. But now when he start to accuse coaches, I think it's not great. Mac Method, he is now on the NHL Network, and he talk about that situation. He talk about Robin Leonard, that prototype, the guy he is, everything like that, where he love him a lot. On the flip side, he said, I enjoy to play for Alain Vigneault. He's a great coach, everything like that. He said, I'm wrong. He's wrong when he said that, but open up that allegation about how they trade the player, how they gave the pills, and everything like that. Have to be a little bit more open up and to make that kind of the flag on the NHL because this is not the first time, Michael. In the past, how he was. Oh, you have this, just go back on the ice, everything like that. Now they have a little bit more the protocol about concussion, everything like that. Now the biggest problem happening up now is the CBA, where the player would like maybe have another version or another way to get treated by their own doctor or another outside the team, everything like that, or have a better perception of injury. So that's what happened yesterday. So overall, I think that would become a bit bigger what it was about Leonard's situation, but he opened up a great point about what they get from the doctor, everything like that. The sadness about this, Michael, 99.9, the doctor works for the team, are great people, are great doctor for the team. He's just a fun case. And unfortunately, what we do in live, we focus on the negativity and not on the positivity. So it'll be interesting what this get out of that situation, that situation.
I think what you saw from Alain Vigneault is what Alain Vigneault is. So he had a very confrontational thing and he says, I don't know the young man. So he created separation between him and the player. And I think that's why Alain Vigneault's career has been so effective because he's like, listen, I am the coach. I am not your best friend. And we see, by contrast, Toronto. And Toronto's got a coach that's everybody's buddy, and you can't distinguish him between the players. And I don't think that's good. I don't think that helps anybody. They're not going to be successful. Whereas Alain Vigneault is clearly in charge of his team, and he is the leader, and he's going to put demands on you. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think that for him to call out Vigneault, I think Vigneault would not have the length of career and the success he's had. He may not be my favorite coach because I think his teams play, kind of like ticky-tacky sometimes, right? Like they'll dive and they'll take advantage of things, but they're very disciplined. They have a very clear game plan and they execute it. And I think that was the problem in Philly is Philly last year was not used to having to do that. So I think it's not really right or accurate to call him a dinosaur. I feel like he's a coach that has had success. He doesn't seem like an old man, and he's kept up with the times. But he doesn't have to be your best friend to be a great coach.
Exactly. The next one, what do you guys think about Thomas Hertl lands during the trade deadline this year?
Detroit.
I don't know. Honestly, it's too early to set up right there. I think they're going to wait until the trade deadline, which team is looking for. And we know the process to sign a contract. If I was him, I would not stay in San Jose, but I'm not Thomas Hertl. But it would be interesting what he can handle. It would be a team looking for a rental player maybe or something like that. But that's what I believe will happening on that situation.
I look at the age of Thomas Hertl, and I think if he goes to UFA, what better place for him to end up in than Detroit? If you think that Lucas Raymond, Rasmussen, Edvinson's coming, Sider, like they've got a lot of pieces. A player like him could make a real big difference in Detroit, depending on how far they come by the end of the year. So that's what I don't think he'll go there this year. I can't see that, but maybe. I think that he's the type of guy that could go in. If you got Verona back, you go, whoa, this is a real good team because he can play center or wing. And that might be the type of player they need. And he's only 25. Is he 25 or
28?
Hertl? Is Hertl?
He's become a UFA now.
Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah,
maybe 26, but I think is like.
You might be right. We should double check, but for that could be an interesting destination depending on where you're at. Otherwise, any team is going to
exactly 28.
Okay, I'm confusing with Timo Meier.
Yeah,
Timo Meier is a little bit younger.
24.
That's who I'm thinking of. So that's interesting. He's 27, going on 28.
But I think honestly, he would not go there. Between you and me,
if you
maybe try to be UFA. You're looking for two things: the money and play for the good team. That's why honestly, we'd be dependent. You know where he's going to be? I'm going to shock everybody here. The Dallas Star.
Do they have room for him? But that would be interesting. I could see that being a huge piece for Dallas. And I think Dallas is going to have a big bounce back year. And I think the other place I could see him is in Boston if they have a good year.
It could be a great place to be there because Bergeron is at the end of the end over there. So I think Boston could become another great destination for him about that one over there. And the reason, I will tell you why I would say that to you. First of all, Michael, Radulov and Pavelski are out next year. So that gave you about $13 million over there, Michael. And I'm not sure they will sign back both of them. I would not do this if I was them. I have a chance to get Hertl. I will jump on it. And unfortunately, at some point, you have to go business here, right? So maybe Pavelski and Radulov can come back, Michael, at $2 million each, whatever it is, right? But that would be that's what I said. The Dallas Star is a great for me to see him over there.
Dallas is going to be really tough to handle. And I think that would be a great fit for him. That would make a lot of sense.
Velen, I'm excited for tonight's game. Yes, Montreal play again the Toronto tonight. Yes, for Holt, for Stefan. Would you like the Panthers, who possibly need defensemen, have to give up multiple choice? We talk about this. That's not a problem. What are you guys? Whoa.
There's so many comments here, guys. I can't.
Hold on. Try to get this.
Do you think that Rasmus Dahlin will leave Buffalo? And I say absolutely not.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere. I think Doughty, but both have had similar careers. So I think that game in, game out, I would want Doughty. And I think he's right now better than Duncan Keith.
Talking about Johnny Golden, we have a couple of more minutes, Michael. Is the Montreal Canadiens tonight did not play with Caulfield. Caulfield back on the ice yesterday. Phil 100% this morning was not there. I did not look the last 30-minute update, but I know Caulfield was on the treatment this morning. So I don't know is the injury come back or if it was not. The only player was not there this morning, Michael, is Josh Anderson. He's not going to play tonight. I don't know if he was on the ice or not this morning. But the lineup for Montreal Canadiens is very different what they thought at the beginning of the morning because they thought you're going to see Caulfield on the ice this morning and Josh Anderson, but unfortunately they are not there. So what happening now is Montreal have Zuski with Jonathan Drouin right now, and I don't get it yet at the right with Toffoli on the left. Armia, Evans, Gallagher, RV Pinard with Poland and Lekonen, and Gabriel Bourque with Mathieu Perreault and Belzile. Michael Pesera is out of the lineup at that moment. Practice this morning at 10:30, and Anderson and Caulfield are not on the lineup right there. Chariot, Whiteman, Coley, Savard, Romana, Fairbrother still inside of that. Still play there. That's pretty amazing for Fairbrother. Montembeault get the nuts tonight, and Primo be the backup, and that's pretty much what happening for the game for tonight for the Montreal Canadiens.
All right, Pierre, we got some games tonight. Do you want to take a quick look and then we'll wrap it up? Let's see.
I'm not sure I have a question for you.
Which one?
Do you think Larkin?
Yeah, so I think what I'm seeing is if he's healthy, he should get 20 goals. If he's playing with Lucas Raymond, he might get 25.
He's going to be back. He's going to be fine with Larkin. I think he's going to have a good year because he's surrounded with good, better hockey player for the upcoming season. Fabri's looking good. Raymond be there. He's going to be about 50 to 60 points, and I think that's what happened about that one over there.
Yeah, I could totally see 20, 25 goals, 30 assists. That makes sense. And then I think the player we still haven't really seen is Tyler Bertuzzi. So it depends on his ability to come back. But if Tyler Bertuzzi is playing, that's going to be a huge difference for Detroit. Caulfield on the ice. Okay, let's take a quick look at games and we'll wrap it up. What do we got going on tonight? So tonight we have Toronto and Montreal. Are we doing a live for that?
So again,
Toronto versus Montreal tonight. We have a live for that.
Yep, I'm doing a live play-by-play.
Buffalo and Pittsburgh, Nashville and Carolina. That'll be interesting. See what kind of lineup they dress. Philadelphia and the New York Islanders. We got Florida and Tampa Bay, Pierre. Cross-state rivals.
I think they play in Orlando, by the way.
They're playing in Orlando. It's interesting. So you think Spencer Knight will start tonight?
They have to because Bobby is out.
Bob's hurt.
His wife's going to have a baby today.
Oh, wow. Congratulations to him. And then we have St. Louis versus Dallas. So it'll be interesting to see who they dress. Vegas versus Colorado. Is McKinnon hurt? Am I missing something?
Who?
Nathan McKinnon.
No.
They've not really played him. So it'd be interesting. Do they play Rantanen? Do they play McKinnon tonight? I'm look for the progression of Nolan Patrick. So far, Pierre, he's looked very good. So I think this is a positive thing for Vegas. Like if he can continue to play the way he is, even if he's playing third line this year, he's going to be second or first in the future. And I think that's what they were looking for him. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Where's McKinnon? I have not seen McKinnon, Pierre. I don't think he's played a preseason game.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then Vancouver versus Seattle. Get used to this one. They're in Vancouver. So Seattle continuing to look – I don't know. Do we see Hughes and do we see Peterson yet? That'll be interesting to see. And then we got Arizona, Coyotes versus the LA Kings. So lots of hockey tonight, Pierre.
Yeah, I want to finish this because the story is going to be really, really interesting to follow up. two young men play for the Victoriaville Tigers, and the QM are accused for sexual assault happening in June. One of them played for Anaheim Ducks, and one of them is not drafted yet. And right now they are this be out to yesterday, last night, and now they are accused, and the QM is going to respond to this during the day. So it'll be really interesting about that one over there. So that's what happening about that. Two young men were really, really interesting to follow up because we know what happened with Logan Mayo last season. So this is another blowout for the QM about the two kids are going to be interesting about that one over there.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
It happened in June 6 or June 10, something like that. And come back for the Montreal Canadiens. The last update I have right now at that moment. Carey Price stay home. He's still sick. Cole Caulfield skate. He's not going. He did not receive the green light to play for contacts. And then finally, Samuel Montembeault is going to be play the full game tonight again. The Toronto Maple Leafs, where Montreal lost 4-1, and then they win 5-2. The second game will be interesting. See that Montreal play tonight, and they play also Thursday, Michael. That will be the final game of that part. And I would be not surprised if, like I said, that goalies going back at WHL. For the New Jersey Devil, Michael, I just want to mention this very quickly. Jack Hughes skate with the second group practice. He's missing also Damon Severson, Ty Smith, and now Mackenzie Blackwood is not there today.
Crazy. Hi, Canucks fan. Thank you for joining us. And Bud the Monkey said he made the Frenchie playoffs. Where do you think Dadonov will be slotted in Vegas? I think in the AHL. He's been playing with Nolan Patrick. Nolan Patrick's looked very good. I don't know if he's looked amazing to me. This might be we're going to see.
It's going to be fine, Michael. He's going to get his 20 goal, and he's going to get his 40, 50, 60 point over there. The only thing that's different between Dadonov like 2 years ago and last season, the TOI is going to be lower. So his TOI is going to be lower. He's going to get his time on the third line on the special team power play. But until Alex Tuch is out, his TOI would be high. When Alex Tuch's coming, so I see him more like a third player's line over there. Was a bit different because he's not, with him and Nicolas Roy and Alex Tuch. I don't think so. He's the kind of player you need on that line to play with them. They are forechecker guys, so that don't have feel better on the second line. But now they have Riley Smith, you have Marchessault,
but they're all the same,
and Nolan Patrick over there. So I don't know where you fit him at some point.
I don't see him fitting. That's why I kind of joked to the AHL, but we saw this with Thomas Tatar before. They have a very specific culture and style of play, and I don't know why they acquired Dadonov. Like, they're trying to inject a talented player into a very static way to generate offense.
Michael, they have to go for a center. That was the problem of that. They gave away Fleury to get money, and they get a winger.
Yeah, but they got Nolan Patrick, who I think has shown.
But again, you go with not sure. You're not sure yet if Nolan Patrick will be the right player or not. You're not guaranteed about that. And you give a return Cody Glass. So at the end of the day, it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
If you want to get that kind of money for $5-6 million, go get an established center in NHL.
They had
your power play center.
They had a Stasny. They had those players, but I don't know.
Theodore is not hurt. It's McNabb is still on the sideline about that one over there. So Theodore should be fine at that moment.
I think they really like Nick Waugh. And I think they feel Nick Waugh can hold the third line.
But Michael, it's the power play. They don't have center power play.
I think this is my point. Like, they don't. I think they're looking at, like, they don't have they have like this very static way to generate offense, which is get the puck in, get control of it deep, move it to the point, shoot it to the front, create a lot of traffic. It's over and over and over. They're not using creativity. And then you've got a Dadonov, you think, oh, let's just put him in there and that'll solve it. But it won't solve it if you don't let players play creatively. And I think that's the bigger thing about Vegas, and that's why a Cody Glass didn't fit. Like, if you look at Nolan Patrick, he fits that style, but you keep putting different pieces in place that are the same and expecting a different result. I don't see it. It's I don't know what a number one center does unless you change that. They value what these other guys bring. Anyways, it's interesting. They're going to be very competitive. They're hard to play against, but it's like you see this pattern and they're not changing it. There's no reason.
It's not related to Patrick Roy for sure about what. I'm sorry, strongly Nate and Vegas. You're absolutely right about that. Does that not have any trademark value? Not really. Because the problem about this journey is not him, is the contract attached to him. It's a $5.3 million where, it's a 25 goal per year and play third line at 5.3. You cannot, with a salary cap, to carry on a player like him over there. And I think that's the problem he get right now. That's what Vegas is stuck again with that situation over there. And that's pretty much what we answer, everybody. If we missed one of your questions, we apologize. It was flying a little bit. We still a bit longer for you guys. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to click on the likes. We really appreciate it. A lot of game tonight, play-by-play at 7 o'clock p.m. with a power play show. And we'll be back tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock for another early edition show with Michael and Cole Frenchy. Have an amazing, great, blessing day, everybody.